So I started playing the guitar back in the mid-70s, so the blues rock sound is really still in my blood. I can really use that to my advantage when I'm playing worship guitar in church. I can go from a clean ambient sound to a thick, juicy melody. And I love digging into the notes.
There's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Yes, I live.
In this video, I want to show you how I use dynamics to go from a thick rock type sound to a clean ambient sound. I'm using this type of sound probably 90% of the time. Check this out. So for me, when I want a cleaner sound, I'm usually using the bridge pickup no matter what guitar I'm using. A little bit of reverb from the Strymon Big Sky, the cloud setting, a little bit of delay from the Strymon timeline. That's really all I'm using. One drive pedal just to thicken it up a little bit, and this is where I'm at about 90% of the time. I'll leave a link for my pedal board breakdown so you can really see more in depth the sounds I'm using. But this is a simple way to really just be inspired when you're on the worship team on Sunday. It's fun to improvise when you're inspired. So using this clean sound and the same sound, I'm going to just get to my bridge pickup, turn it up all the way to 10 because I was on about 7 with that cleaner sound. The same sound, just back it down on the volume. It sounds like I'm stepping on pedals, but it's just the dynamic of the guitar. I really grew up, like I said, playing rock and blues guitar, and the dynamic thing is really in me when I'm using the pickup selector and volume and tone knobs all the time. This just gives you a lot of variance without really messing with a lot of pedals, just keeping a core sound. And it just is fun and very inspiring to play that way. So I'm doing this simple melody in the key of C. So I'm thinking when it's time for that little bit of a break there, before we go to another verse, I'm really going to dig into it. So I get to the bridge pickup, turn the volume to 10. So with that, I'm really using some octaves to create the melody, which thickens it up in itself. But me turning that volume to 10 with this bridge pickup is really the key for me, and really muting, because I'm raking these strings like before I even start the melody. I'm raking them. I'm muting the strings. I'm got my, in the 3rd fret of the A string, I got my first finger, and I'm already muting this E string there. And then for the other octave here, that's why I use my little finger, and I kind of just lay my other fingers it just gives me freedom to arch a little bit easier there, but you can definitely use your first and third finger. And naturally, this is getting deadened, the D string, by my first finger laying on it. And also, the E string's deadened, just naturally. And then with this C note in the 5th fret of the G string, that little finger is slightly laying on the B string there. So you are just hearing those two notes here. But I'm raking all of the strings to give it that thick sound. I'm hitting all the strings. And this might even sound like a lot of effects to some of you, but in the mix at church, a lot of that goes away. You just have a little bit of widening is what happens with your notes. And it really just helps fit into the mix for me. Maybe a lot of you guys go to churches that don't even use instruments. You might just sing, maybe just a piano player, acoustic player. This rock sound would not fit in that church. But when you're playing with a full band in a contemporary church like that I go to, Chapel Street, this fits in and is for me, as long as I don't play that type of sound the entire worship set, I'm looking at just kind of going through a journey through clean and dirty sounds, adding a little bit of effects here and there, but mostly just having the sounds available when you're inspired. Sometimes the clean sound might fit through the whole song, and I'll use different dynamics with triads moving up the fretboard. You can definitely use the dynamics. For me, honestly, I had a hard time the first year or two playing on the worship team because I might naturally wanted to crank it up and play aggressively the whole song, and most songs that does not fit for me, for my taste, in what I'm trying to serve the Lord and serve the song. The song has a certain vibe, and you just have to go with that. Sometimes it calls for that rock sound, but other times you're playing a lot cleaner stuff. But you need those sounds at your feet right there. That's what's inspiring to me, to have access to it really just takes a few pedals to really get there. Don't really bog yourself down with a whole 10 or 12 pedals that you're tap dancing around, because you'll be thinking about that way more than the notes you're actually playing. Basically, we want to give the Lord our best. Rehearse, get ready for some of the stuff that the songs that we're doing, but just have fun with the instrument we've been blessed with. Thanks for hanging out with me for these couple quick tips here. Just it helped me a lot on the worship team, using a lot of dynamics and just doing it as you're inspired, as your heart is led to play. Thank you for all your support, and remember, God is good.